give you the jazzy music. All right, advocacy is not optional. It's either something you do intentionally or something that happens to you. It feels like maybe it's like getting hit by a truck. Either you're jumping over the truck or the truck is jumping over you. Our next guest has spent decades inside this machinery of healthcare policy and professional advocacy. Live from Anaheim, Jim Leahy. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jimmy. Great to be here.
How's this little conference, this little shindig going for you so far?
I love CSM.
Yeah, it's a big party.
It's a big party. It's great people. We get to see clients of ours from all over the country in one place for a whole week, and you get to know people better.
Yeah.
And PTs are people.
Yeah.
Persons.
Yeah. And this you hear a lot of energizing, refilling the battery metaphors and analogies, and that's what it is.
It's really important to remember what fills your cup in life.
Yeah.
If you're just running hot all the time, you're going to run out of gas. Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that reminds you why you work with these kinds of people.
So you're not a physical therapist.
I'm not.
But you've been in this profession. You got the honorary. What was the award last year?
Honorary member of APTA. I've been involved with APTA chapters since 1992, I'm not licensed, but I can diagnose occasionally.
And they don't hand that out. Like that, I feel like that title doesn't sound as heavy as they don't hand that title out to people.
My understanding is there are about 20 of us.
Yeah, that's a pretty good list.
It was humbling.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. It was some of my dearest friends on the planet are APTA folks. And when I got the call, I was speechless, which doesn't actually happen to me very often.
I can attest. I've talked to this guy a lot. Very few people can talk as much as me. This is one of them. It must be the Jimmy thing. So give people context. Not just a title of what you do, but how do you describe what actually gets done? You work with at a high but tactical level with state chapters.
Yeah, so I'm the managing director of a public affairs firm based out of Boston. And, in my professional career, I kind of started as a lobbyist and a nonprofit manager. And when the APTA thing started back in 92, I was the lobbyist in Connecticut. A couple of years later, they asked me to be the executive director, and it worked out. And then, not intentionally, but we slowly started acquiring chapters in the Northeast, and we learned some stuff about how to work together. That a good friend of mine wrote an article back in 1995 about organizational development and whether organizations were egocentric, where everything had to run through them, or network-centric, where you're just creating opportunities for people. And we've developed the latter model. We have regular gatherings of like our presidents, and they really have become friends, and it's a support network. So
I think one of the first times we had done a project together was during COVID, when someone had emailed me and they were like, "You know how to do live streams?" And we got this conference that now can't be in person, but I feel like in the Northeast, I did hear a comedian say this. I know that the United States was settled east to west, but it looks like it was done the other way. And we just ran out of room and started designing states in the Northeast that just look like puzzle pieces. But I feel like out of proximity and geography, the states from Maine, New England, Maine, down to where I am in New York, wind up doing things together.
It's easier.
Yeah, it's easier.
Right. It's just easier. And when education and meetings moved to more virtual, those geographic lines got less important.
Didn't matter.
And that's what enabled us to expand beyond New England. Now we work with Minnesota and Colorado and South Dakota. And to be frank, I've had a bunch of conversations this week with other folks who, and I'm not under any delusion that it's us they want to be with necessarily, but they see how our presidents work together, how our chairs work together. And those kind of support systems are really important when you're in battle.
Yeah.
And, legislative battles are battles.
With words and policy and words.
And because that's my lens, because that's where I come from, I enjoy taking times to teach people about advocacy. And it's like everything else, many hands make light work. And if PTs would engage at the same level that chiropractors do, we'd be stronger than chiropractors because there are more of us.
Yeah.
But we don't. Lots of PTs think they can delegate their advocacy responsibilities to other PTs, and it's not how it works.
Yeah. People will never talk about your goals or visions as often, as passionately, as accurately. When you farm that out, you lose them.
It's funny. People are intimidated by talking to legislators. And one thing you learn when you deal with legislators a lot is they're not very intimidating. Often they were the most popular person in a room at a meeting when they were trying to decide who'd run for office. And very few of them are physical therapists. So you have something to bring to them.
Yeah.
It's frustrating for me when I go to a state day on the Hill and it's 80% students.
Yeah.
Because that sends a bad message. right? That tells the legislators that
we sent students and nobody else showed up with them.
With that said, physical therapists who commit to advocacy can be very good at it, because it doesn't matter why you care about something. The question is, why should the legislator care about it? Why is it good for their constituents? Why is it good for them politically? And so, we're used to talking to patients that way. Like, it doesn't. I can't just dump what I know on you. You're not going to be a compliant patient. I need to explain why you need to do it.
Understanding.
Yeah. So
as in your role, I mean, a lot of people, when you go to APTA Minnesota, APTA, Connecticut's website, it looks like the highest ranking person on the association is the president. The president is elected and serves a term. They're usually a physical therapist or a business owner, but you're sort of the structure that remains from president to president, from administration to administration. What do you sort of provide? What are the things that people don't know is being provided by it?
Yeah, we're the infrastructure, right? So we do board development, leadership development. We work on communications. We try to figure out how to help them reach their goals.
Right.
And because we have experience, we've seen where it works and where it fails.
So you can sort of be in a room and be like, no, I see what you're trying to do there, but we've done that, and here's 3 reasons why that might not be as effective.
Well, and usually what it comes down to is tweaking stuff.
Yeah, so it's not far off. It's just 2 degrees off.
I'm a lifelong committed optimist, and my staff often roll their eyes at me because I'll say, "Oh, we can do that," and it takes a little work. But if someone's passionate, if you get people to really work, a team to work in a direction, you can accomplish incredible things. I spent my life as a soccer coach, and the compliment that I got from players most often was that I made them believe they could achieve something that they never thought they could achieve on their own. And I feel like we do the same thing with therapists often. They didn't think they could be a good lobbyist.
So what's the pitch to someone who's like, that looks like a lot of work and I got 20 other things? Like, what's sort of your way of getting them to take one step and then showing them that one step wasn't that bad? Why not take one more?
Yeah, well, 2 things. One is we develop tools to make it easier.
Good.
And then reminding them that it doesn't matter what you learned in school and doesn't matter what you know how you can do. State legislatures determine what your scope of practice is. And if you're interested in sitting it out and hoping they make good decisions,
let me know how that works.
You're a knucklehead. You're just a knucklehead. I actually have been lucky enough to pass 3 first in the nation state laws.
Oh, wow.
Fun one. Warning, small parts may pose choke hazard when you sit on the side of the toy. It was me.
Wow.
1991 over the objection of Lego. Actually, and in this very building, celebrated the success passing the first GMO labeling law in the country, which later got struck down by the feds. But you can achieve some pretty cool stuff if you get committed groups of people together. It's that Margaret Mead quote, don't underestimate what a small group of committed people can do. It can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. And so, I don't know why you'd spend as much money as people spend on a PT education and then hope that they let you do it.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And the one thing we know about politics is it's not a lot of work at any given time. It's just over a long period of time because it's about relationships.
Correct.
Right. The question is, when a legislator is faced with an issue around this stuff, are they reaching out to you? And if you spend enough time developing the relationship, that'll happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you have to go to Boston or Hartford or Denver or St. Paul in Minnesota. Go to the coffee house in the district where they're having an open town hall or just a open office hours. And just have a conversation. They're interested in what you care about. When you get to the legislature and there's advocacy sides on both sides, it's knock down, drag out.
Right.
And it really does help if they know you and trust you.
It does.
And you have to be willing to tell the truth, even when the answer is uncomfortable. The legislator says to you, how's this going to impact you? Don't exaggerate. Right, because they'll figure that out. Yeah. I know legislators who will ask a difficult question on purpose to see how you answer.
Oh, that's smart.
And if you lie, you're done.
Because they're judging your character.
Absolutely.
If I ask this person later a question I don't know the answer to, am I getting the truth or not?
In Connecticut last year, we wanted to pass mandatory ethics CE. Right, so we have a CE requirement already. Right. We just wanted 2 hours of that to have to be ethics because with the pressures from health insurance these days and long hours and burnout that we see in our profession, we know that reminders of some ethical standards and some even tips and tricks to take pressure off yourself is really good for a therapist and creates the environment that we want, a healthy practice environment. Right. FSPPT recommends it, actually. It took one conversation with the chair of the committee, who's a social worker, who we talked to a lot. And as soon as we said it, she said, "You're right." And she put it in the bill. And we actually never had to lobby.
Wow.
like because we developed the relationship. And Vic Vaughn, who's the former Connecticut chapter president, is a constituent of hers. He's spent a ton of time with her, and we didn't sell a bill of goods. It was the right thing to do, and it worked.
Yeah. Some things, because again, you work across states, so you're seeing things on a state level across states in different time zones and everything. What's one or two things you're excited for that hopefully we can get to change at a state level or several state level in the next 3 to 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think APTA's renewed focus on payment is really important, and it's I urge my chapters not to call them legislative committees anymore because like to a carpenter with a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and the legislature can be the worst place to make change sometimes. So
because what you have to do before that?
It's just long.
Upstream?
Legislative is a long process.
Oh.
Nothing passes the first year. Well, our ethics bill did, but generally nothing passes in the first year. But if you can look at things through a bunch of lenses, there are administrative changes that could happen. There are legislative changes that can happen. You can work directly with insurers to try to come up with pilots and other things. We can, we're seeing some interesting AI applications now. There's a Brace up in Massachusetts has created AI to fight with the insurance company computers, and then tells you when you should pick up the phone and call.
Computers talking to computers.
It's all good
until we can pick up.
So I think the focus on payment can really help because we need, if the environment that we're in now continues, it's going to be problematic. And I think we have to approach it from a bunch of different angles.
Yeah.
Making our people smarter doing stuff. I think there seems to be some movement on prior authorization laws now to make that, we know that making it harder for people to get treatment ruins outcomes and makes them more expensive. And I think people are finally getting that. So I think we're going to keep seeing, APTA does a great job telling people how important this is and trying to provide resources.
Yeah.
No question of that. And we just need people to not think it's optional. Like it's just part of your job. And if you're not doing it, you're letting down your patients.
Yeah.
You're free to do it yourself. You don't have to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But your patients don't get access to your care. That's not cool.
Yeah. Last thing we do on each episode is called the parting shot. What's one idea, concept, quote, mic drop moment? What would you want to leave with everybody as we wrap up?
Yeah, go on your state chapter website today, look up an issue, and send a note to your state representative in your state senator. And do it before 5 o'clock today. This
live stream is 12 minutes long. You could probably several of those in the time it took to listen to this.
That's right.
And I know it probably feels like it just goes into the abyss or some email address. I got a buddy who's a district state legislator in New York, and he showed me the spreadsheet. He's like, every email comes in, and we have people who email often, and he's like, I recognize the names. He's like, this person's got a soapbox, but he shows me every email. So someone's reading it, and not only reading it, but taking it out and putting it on the spreadsheet to show which topics are coming up most often.
When I started lobbying for the Connecticut chapter in 1992, I spoke to a Senate chairperson of a committee, and he told me two things. One was that the chapter relied too much on its lobbyists, and it needed to get more PTs to the Capitol. So we've taken that to heart. The second, I said, how much does it take? And he said, we notice every one. If it's 2, there's a staff person who's looking at it. If it's 5, we have to have a position. And if it's 10, the revolution is coming.
10.
And a Senate district in Connecticut is about 80, I think it's 80,000. Is that right? I think that's right. 10 emails. 10. Now, there are issues where that comes out differently. Like if it's something that's on the front page of the newspaper or in your 7 a.m. news broadcast, it's going to take more than 10.
Right.
Most of the stuff we work on, 10 gets you noticed.
Damn, 10.
When Connecticut passed PT compact legislation a few years ago, we generated emails to probably 25 House and Senate districts from where our committee leadership was. And that committee chair referenced that at every public meeting throughout the legislative process. And when it passed, she said, we knew we had to do it because legislators cared, and legislators cared because they heard from constituents.
Yeah.
Right? So.
All right. Well, hey, optimistic about all the states that you're working with. Appreciate your time here at CSM, and good to see you, man.
Thanks, Jimmy.